Good afternoon. Yes, I am here. I have not fallen off the edge of the world. Before anybody asks, no, I didn't make this. This is from the back of my wardrobe, and so is the skirt. You can see the skirt. As you know, I was sorting out clothes and everything like that the other week and throwing a whole pile of them to the, well, not throwing them out, throwing them to the charity shop. Let someone else have use of them. But this I really like. I've got this in white as well. I bought it from George in Asda. I think if you're in the US you know it as Walmart. And it's very, very intricate. I mean, this was red. You can tell how long I've had it. It's sort of faded to a strange pinkish shade now. But anyway, I think I paid probably about £10 for each of them. I had a white one and this one. I still got the white one. But when you think how intricate the work is on this, I mean, sheesh. Oh, I've got a little taggy sticking up. Hang on a moment while I snip it. Can't do with that. Annoying. I mean, it really is when you think about it. I bought something that was probably made with slave labour. But it just looked so pretty at the time, and at the time I wasn't crocheting. It was when I was working still, and I just decided I liked them one summer and bought this one and a white one. I used to wear the white one with the white skirt, but it looked a bit sort of bride-like. So I started wearing the white one with something else. Anyway, hello and welcome. The reason why I've been missing, I've had hospital appointments, and also it's been so hot. I mean, it won't be hot to you in the US in certain places, but I'm British and we're not used to this kind of heat. So when it comes all of a sudden out of the blue, it just, well, it just knocked me over. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't crochet. I couldn't do anything. It was too sticky and hot. I tried sitting out on the decking, but I had to sit out when the house was in, you know, was shading the decking. I couldn't dare to sit out in it in the sun, even with my sun hat. I sat out briefly one day while I was doing something and burnt the tops of my knees, and I thought I was in the shade, because I did actually have shorts on, not for public viewing, shorts and I. Although the reason I've got into this top is that I've actually lost £18, which I'm highly delighted about. Keep up the good work, Janet. Keep on the salads. Keep watching what you're eating. That's all I've been doing, honestly. I've not been the horrible D word. I've not been doing that, the diet. As you say, it's die with a T, isn't it? You know, as soon as anybody mentions the word diet, I go la 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 la, and I go and do the opposite thing. You know, if you tell me I can't have a chocolate bar, you tell me I can't, I want it all the more. Whereas if I've got chocolate in the fridge, it's there, I can leave it alone. I know that sounds strange, maybe that's a bit odd to most of you. If there was no chocolate in the fridge, I would go crazy. I would have to go and I would have to buy some and I would have to eat it. But because it's there in the fridge, and I know I can walk in there any minute of the day and go and get a chocolate bar if I want one. I don't have them, I don't eat them. So I think that my downfall really was not buying things. You know, you think, I won't buy that because I might eat it. I won't buy biscuits, I might eat them. I don't. I have cake usually once a week. Well, once a week if Sue calls, and I always tell her to take the rest of the package of cakes home because I know I won't eat the rest. I mean, I'm a diabetic, so actually I shouldn't be eating cakes and things like that anyway, but that's by the by. Anyway, first of all, do you like my mug? I'm sorry I can't get any more for anybody who might want one. It was made for me, well, I got one for myself and I got one for Kelly. It was made for us for a donation to the I Love Manchester campaign by a friend. She wasn't making them to sell, she was just making them to donate for her, well, her part in donating money to charity. I'm actually waiting for little bees to come in stock. It's another lady in Prestwich who's making these little bee brooches. And she had them in red and she had them in blue, but I wanted the original yellow bee. But apparently she's going to be getting some more in July, so watch this space, you may see me with a little bee. I went off the idea of the tattoo. Too much pain. Crochet is as it stands. I did finish off the items, finished up sewing them up. But one's got no buttons on. One I've found a tail hanging off of it that hasn't been stitched up. And the other one got a little bit grubby because I got my hands, even though I washed them, they got sticky and hot. So I thought, no, I'm going to wash it through and freshen it up before I put it up for sale. Anyway, I'll show you what I've got, and I've got patterns and things to show you. So we'll start with, oh, I hope you can see this one. I haven't put the light on in here because it tends to shine on the patterns, so I'm hoping you can all see me. I got this one off eBay. I think it's probably out of a magazine. It's done in, I presume it's a 4-ply or a very fine organic cotton 4-ply. So that's not the US 4-ply, that's the US maybe fingering, I'm not sure. It's done in very pastel colours, I don't know whether you can see them. Pink, white, sort of like a coffee colour. I don't think it's white actually, I think it's maybe white, maybe cream. So it's pink, sort of green, coffee colour and cream. So I won't have those colours in my stash, but I will have to have a little search about what I've got. I'll put that down, I won't mess with it now. And then when Kelly came the other day, she gave me this. Isn't that cute? It's a Peyton's book, or I pronounce it Peyton's, by the way. I know people are a bit confused as to whether it's patterns. But when our representative used to call at the shop from Peyton's, he used to always introduce himself. He was from Peyton's. And I've always known it as being Peyton's from being a child, so pronounce it how you wish, but I pronounce it Peyton's, yeah. It's 12 styles in XXS to XL. And they're all done in Mirage double knitting, and it's book number 3800. Then at the end it says P4, so I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure where Kelly got it from, so I can't give you any clues. It's knit and crochet, not just crochet. Those two are knitted. Those two are also knitted. And then you've got one of each. You've got a knit and you've got a crochet. I do like the colours of that crochet. I know I always use bright colours, but there are some subtle colours that I do like. And that one is crochet. The book says here, contemporary fashion in knit and crochet. I'm not showing you anything I shouldn't there. Right, we'll go to the back now for some more photos. That one is another knit one. A lot of these are variations on the same pattern, you know, some's got short sleeves, some's cardigans, some's whatever, yeah. There you've got a crochet and a knit one. I like that one, but I think you'd have to put a t-shirt and a vest underneath that. Mine I do under most of my tops, because this one's got an integral lining with this one. That one looks crochet, but it's actually knitted, and that one is crochet. If you can hear any noise, it's Gigi snoring. And I do love that one, but I know I would never knit it, because it's side to side, so it would go forever and ever and ever. And that one's a crochet one. And the last page just shows what's in the book. So thank you, Kelly, that was very nice. Oh, I'm being dive bombed by a fly, did you see that? Zip. Oh, I finally got to the optician. Look, new reading glasses. New reading glasses. Don't I look beautiful? No. As my mother used to say, you can't overgild a lily. But, oh, you can't make a, what is it, a purse out of a sow's ear. Excuse me while I have a drink. As for who's coming to visit, well, it's all been sort of partly my fault, partly other people working and things like that. So I've really no idea if anybody is coming. I doubt it this week, although, you know, Kelly may turn up. I really don't know. She hasn't said. So I shall leave it as open. I don't know whether Sue's enjoyed her holiday, because she came back from a holiday and went into work mode. So even though I message her, I don't always get replies when she's working. It doesn't bother me at all. People don't reply to me when I send them a message. It doesn't bother me. I don't get all, ooh, they don't like me anymore. I just presume that they're busy and leave it at that. Right, this one is Crocheting Now, and it's one I picked up at the supermarket last week when my niece, my lovely niece, took me shopping, and I spent way more than I should have. I always do when I go with her. I always go in saying, this is my list, and my list will have about 10 things on it. And I say, I don't want much today. And then she always says to me, thought you didn't want much today. But it's that salady kind of weather, isn't it? Issue 16, UK, $5.99 it says here. But it's that kind of weather where you don't want hot things and you just want to have salad. And I'm lazy, so instead of buying a whole lettuce or something and a cucumber and that, I buy the bowls like a ready-made salad. Lazy. But it was too hot. And it was too hot to be cooking anything or stuff like that. So why did I take my glasses off when I'm reading a book? You know, the sun's got to me. Right. If you, oh, I like Boho Spirit. So it's got 5 new shades arriving in June. You've seen me work a lot with Boho Spirit. I really do like it, yeah. So let's see what else we've got. Oh, I nearly got tempted today. They sent me a thing from Ice, and they've got the cakes in cotton. And I was like, no. I know you've not got cakes in cotton, but no, you've got enough to get on with. And also, I think I told you I'm trying to claw back a bit of money because I've still got things to get for in the house. So instead of spending, I should be saving whatever, crocheting more orders. Which I haven't been doing because it's been too hot. Right, this one's Sweet Rolls collection from the Wool Warehouse. Don't know whether they're new shades or not. They might be new in the UK, but not new in the US. What does it say here? Oh, you can get design packs at Deramores. I tend not to buy packs. I really, I don't know, I'd always be terrified I'd run out of something, yeah. Oh, there's the scages they're doing, or sheep jeeps as people call it there. Got some combs there. I think I've told you I've got a couple of those patterns in Serdar, but it's not really the weather, is it, for cowls and stuff. Right, West Yorkshire Spinners. They do now do 13 colours, including 9 solids and 4 colour variations. That's one yarn I've not used yet, maybe because it's Falkland wool and alpaca, and anything man-made, anything natural touches my skin except for cotton or bamboo, just drives me potty. Right, that's Lily's Sunset blanket. No, I've tried everything. I've tried merino, I've tried lamb's wool, I've tried everything, and I come out in a rash. I mean, anything with a smidgy of wool touches my skin. That again is sheep jeeps or scages. And I do have a thing called stone washed. Lots and lots of pretty colours, but I'm always so thankful when they're acrylic. Right, Sunrise. Oh, now this will be alright for me. It's Wendy Evolution. and it's a double knitting, but it's 50% cotton and 50% acrylic. It's in the nice gradient shades of yellows and golds and oranges. And Wild Goose Chase Throw. Whoops, a daisy. There we go. The sun's decided to come out. It's been raining most of the day. And that's showing you how to do, oops, 4 colour grannies. There's an article on that. This one looks like it's flowers and motifs, so you know my thoughts about little round motifs. And that's again in a Sheep Jeeps 4-ply, which would be again this fingering sports weights or whatever you call it in the US. And that again is a cake, which is 60% cotton and 60% acrylic, but it's very fine because it uses a 3mm hook. I'm sorry, it's a UK magazine, so it doesn't give me any clues as to what you would use in America. Then we have got Scarlet the Macaw. Not a budgie, it's a macaw. I'm never going to live down that budgie. I've only got to say the B word and Kelly just dissolves into laughter. Designer Sketchbook. Who's this lady? Oh, I've got this book. It's the Colourful Crochet book. I think I showed you a smidget out of it the other week. What's she called, the lady? Marianne Deckers Roos. Ah, she's in Amsterdam, that's why she's got that name, Roos. I didn't think it was English. And that's one of the patterns that's in her book I've shown you, but it's actually in this magazine. This one's, God, there's a long bird is here. The Parakeet Feather Shawl. Or should I call it the Budgie Feathered Shawl? This one's using Louisa Harding, Amitola, 3 balls in parakeet. It's wool and silk, 80% wool. And it's a double knitting. But it's a parakeet. What is a budgie? It's a budgie shawl. What else have we got in here? I do like this one. This is called a Free Spirit Waistcoat. It's done in Karen cakes and it takes 1 or 2 balls. Well, it'll be 2 balls for my size. It's 20% wool, 80% acrylic, but I do have lots of the ice cakes which are all acrylic. And the back view of it, I'm going to have to struggle to show you this because it's got instructions on it. Hang on. Let me cover it over. That's the back view. But I do like that. Ow! Sorry about that, my knee hurt. I've had injections in my spine, injections in my hips, so all that's left now to hurt are my knees. And they are. The thing is, you see, I've stopped taking any painkillers because I figured that, you know, when the injection, the epidural injection wears off, I need to have something to fall, fly again. Need to have something to fall back on. So if I'm like taking both at the moment, if I've got my epidural injection in my spine and the cortisone injection in my hip, and I'm feeling sort of, I won't say pain-free, but the sharp pain has gone. When that starts to wear off, what will I do? So I'm saving my painkillers until that happens. So no painkillers at the present minute. But my knees don't like it because, of course, they've not had injections, have they? Right, this one is the Kingfisher Summer Blanket. This one's done in Rowan Cotton Glacé. Separate colours, it's not gradient or whatever you want to call it. Again, I'm going to have to cover everything up. Let's cover this bottom bit up and I'll cover the side bit up. No, I can't turn it around. Oh, dearie me. That's what it looks like anyway. You're using 3 colours. Yeah. This again is Sandra from Cherry Heart She's called Sandra Paul, and it's another episode, if you want to call it, of her crochet along. Although I like granny squares, I don't really care for, how can I put it, too many multicolours and go away fly. It's now walking around my beaker. It's very cheeky, that fly. You know, it looks a bit, sorry to say this Sandra, but a bit mismatched and all over the place. I like my blankets to have a theme, you know, like no, it's too, you know, like this has got a theme, hasn't it? It's got like purples and pinks and toning colours. I like that sort of thing, but I don't like these, how can I put it, scrap gown things where you shove everything but the kitchen sink in it, you know. Not keen on that. Right. This is advertising a book called Crochet Essentials, which I haven't seen as yet, I don't think. It must be new because that's just saying episode 2. Poor Gigi. I like this one, it's an open worktop, but I think it's for 4 to 12 years, but you would have to make sure they had a little something underneath it, otherwise, you know, it's a little bit indecent for a little girl, isn't it? And it's done in Berger de France Aurelie. It's a double knitting, so you could use any double knitting. It's a 4mm hook. But I think I would like my little girl. I'm not sure if she's got a flesh coloured thing underneath it, but I definitely would put something underneath if it was my little girl. Sorry. I don't believe in little girls flashing at a certain age. That is a flamingo cushion. Again, not my thing, but if you like that sort of thing. And, excuse me, flamingo PB Mobile. I was supposed to be at the ear, nose and throat about my throat today, but they cancelled it. I'm going again now Monday sometime. So this is the book club. It's advertising Crochet Baby Shoes, which is by Val Pierce. But there is a free pair in the magazine which is called Duckling Shoes. I won't be buying that book because I have no babies really in my family that would appreciate anything to do with duckling shoes, and I never was able to sell any baby things on my Etsy, and these glasses are sliding down my nose. I deliberately didn't have them bent around my ears, but when I put my head down they do slide. That's Pretty Pastel Shrug. It's done in Rico Creative Sport double knitting, and it's a cotton and acrylic mix. Very pastel-y and pretty. And I mean, this is a very pretty stitch, but I would never do it. It's called a Peacock Fan Cushion. And it's done in Deramores Tweedy double knitting, and it's on a 4mm hook here. Very, very pretty, but I've gone off crochet. When you've got animals, they just get their feet stuck in them and everything, don't they? And that's just showing all the differences that there are. I like the way it says shop local. A, I don't have a wool shop local, and B, a lot of these are nowhere near me. When you can, I mean, one of them you can only get it in one place. I don't know whether it's number 5. Oh no, number 5 you can get it in 2 places. Number 3, you can only get it, well, according to this, you can only get it in a couple of places as well. But you see, they only contact the bigger shops, don't they? Your local shop might have it anyway. Oh, this one's showing, you know, talking about different reviews of different cakes and things. You know, how some seem cheaper and they're not actually cheaper when you go into them because they've got less yardage on, things like that, yeah. And that's a yarn shop in Kent. Apparently she took over half of her husband's craft shop. Oh, a model airplane shop he had. Well, he has. So she took over part of it for yarn. One way, isn't it? Move over, husband, I want a little bit of space in your shop. One way. And then this one's talking about, you know, yarn bombing. Maybe next edition they'll have about the yarn bombing of Manchester and London. Manchester are asking for no more square, no more hearts. The hearts up to here. That's useful for a lot of people. It's amazing, amazing how many people cannot read a pattern. They rely on YouTube for every single thing, and whilst it's good and it's lovely to learn that way, I think you should really aim to progress, because there are hundreds, thousands of crochet patterns out there that are absolutely beautiful and they don't have tutorials. So you're missing out, ladies or men, if you don't actually learn how to read a pattern. Well, this is one that will probably wend its way down to Karen Hale's Casualistic, because as you know, much as I like animal safaris, I don't hate them. Let's have a look at it. It shows you what's in the book. That one is obviously a zebra, or zebra if you wish to call it that way. What have we got next? That's Mr. Elephant, or Effalump as my son used to call them, Effalumps. It's ages before we got him to say elephant. And that's a very strange looking giraffe. Oh, it's a giraffe. Don't think they've got the bodywork quite right. And that of course is Mr. Leo the lion. And Cheeky Monkey. So they're all done in a triangular shape, aren't they, with different heads and faces on. So as I was saying, it might wend its way around down to you one day, Karen, when I find the effort to make to put it in the post. Well, this one I actually got on eBay, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to get it because it came all the way from New Zealand. I paid more for the postage than I did for the actual book. It's leisure art, so it may be available in the US. I've never seen it over in the UK. It's called Romantics Lux Crochet. Yeah, it's by Leisure Creative Arts. Oh, it's made in the USA, so you could probably get it over there. And it's just flirting with romance, this one says. It's got a very, very open work skirt and a bolero, whatever you want to call it. This one's called Midsummer Dream. Again, it's sort of like the mesh stitch with different variations. It's not a very good picture of the bolero, but again, it's mesh stitch. It's a bolero. If you look at the hat, I think you get a better idea of the actual stitch. This one's unusual. It's called a Bohemian Frill. It's like, I'm not supposed whether you wear it on top of a shirt or whether you sew it into a shirt. I'm not really. I won't be making it, so let's say I didn't read it all that much. But to me, it's a very chunky looking front to a fine looking shirt. That's nice. That's a dress with flair. And that's very thick, isn't it? I'm not sure what kind of yarn that is. Oh, Boa from Bernat. Bernat, sorry, not Bernat. It's a 6 super bulky. And it's actually a triangle shaped shawl, but you wouldn't really notice it, would you? That one's quite pretty. That's goes up to a 2XL. That's by Lily Chin. Elite Cotton from Lily. It's done in, and it's on a 5mm hook. So that's quite a pretty one. This is the one that I actually bought it for. Hooded coat. I do like that. It's done in super bulky. Well, it goes up to a 56.5 bust, so us fluffy ladies are in there. It's on a 650 hook, and it's called Colour Waves from Lion brand, which you can probably get hold of a lot easier than I could get anything like that. It's saying it's a super bulky, but it's got the granny stitch squares around the edge of it, then another stitch that goes up on a hood with like a peacock around the edge, so I do like that coat. That is the reason I got the magazine, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm daft enough, I buy a magazine just for one partner. This one's called Lilac and Lace. It's just a very open work. It's more like a vest, isn't it? It's not really a bolero or anything. They just call it open work, they don't call it any name. And that is again another really chunky looking coat. I'm not a lover of anything too chunky in a coat because I think it tends to drop down, you know, when you're walking or something. It's Galaxy from Burnett. And again, it's another super bulky. It's got a texture with that one, hasn't it, obviously. This one is called Artistry. It's an asymmetrical design. If you look at it, the back bit there is different, and I'm not keen on that. I think it looks like you've misjudged it and done it a bit wrong. I quite like it if it all met up at the bottom, you know, it was all the same size. Yeah. But that's just me, isn't it? And I'm old-fashioned. Winter Enchantments. This is done in a medium, number 4. I probably might make the hat. Not sure about the frills around the scarf, but... And that appears to be... Oh no, it's not the last one. Shawl Ashima. It's medallions, which I wouldn't do anyway, medallions, and it's number 3 light. Anything with circles joined together, you may have noticed I passed right over. They don't make sense to me. I've tried. Someone bought me a how-to video and I have tried, and it looks easy. I must admit it looks easy, but it isn't easy to me. My brain does not work like Sue's. I have a square brain. Sue must have a round one or a shapy brain. Right, what happened with me in my life? Well, I got a phone call Monday. Would you come in Tuesday? There's been a cancellation for your hip injection. So it was a bit short notice, but I told his daddy, and he made arrangements for him to stay off work because I didn't know how long it'd be. And it is a very good job that I did, because I left my house here at 9:45 to be down at Trafford General, which isn't my local hospital, but it was where they were doing the procedure, for 11. So we sat, it was sweltering, it was so hot. And they told us they're not allowed to have fans anymore because it spreads infection. They've had fans for years, I don't know why suddenly. Anyway, we were sweltering, the windows weren't open the whole way, and they didn't open the whole way. So we were in a little ward, there was like, I think there were 6 of us on an 8-bed ward. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there were 6 of us on a 10-bed ward. Yeah. So we sat there, we sat there, we sat there. Nothing to eat, nothing to drink, nothing. Eventually I said, could I have a drink of water? So that she brought jugs of water around everywhere. I mean, they knew I was diabetic because they'd come and done a finger sample. So in the end it got to about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I said, when are we going down for this procedure? And she goes, won't be long, won't be long. So I said, well, I'm really hungry now, you know, I said, I'm diabetic, I should eat something. So begrudgingly they came round with sandwiches for 2 of us, because the girl across the way from me said, I'm really hungry too. And she's before me in theatre, so we got a cup of coffee. The lady in the next bed to us, she was having a general anaesthetic because of, I don't know what had happened to her in the past with injections, but she was having a general, so she had had nothing to eat from the night before. So she was practically ready to eat the curtains by this stage, and she couldn't even have a drink of water. So when we got anything to eat, she's going, I don't want to see, I don't want to hear, can you pull the curtains round, I don't want to see him eating and drinking. I felt ostracised. Anyway, eventually I got down to theatre, would you believe, at 6:30. The injection was done in about half hour. And then when I came back to the ward, I had to sit there for 30 minutes before they would allow me to go home. Would you like a sandwich, something to drink and all that? I said, well, I'll have a drink. I said, but it's getting a bit late. I said, I want to go home and have some, you know, my proper dinner, you know. Oh, okay then. So by the time I'd called a taxi and they'd found me, because this place is like a rabbit warren. I think it's one of the oldest hospitals. I think Florence Nightingale used to operate in there. Anyway, I got home at 8:10. So I said to Gigi's daddy the following day, I said, it's a good job I didn't have Gigi, because the poor little soul would have been on his own from 9:45 till 8:10. So that was one thing. And I've now had another cancellation. I was supposed to be at the ear, nose and throat today. So they've cancelled me. I'm going, I think it's either Monday or Tuesday I'm going. So then I had to cancel the gardener because she comes on the same day. Ow. This is the story of my life. This is what you call being an OAP, an old age pensioner. Not working and available. You do get seen sort of mostly quicker because they put you on the cancellation list. And they know if they ring you up, you're less likely to have to, you know, ask for time off work, etc, etc. So, hip injection is fine. He was laughing because I said to him, I hope you don't hurt me, because Mr. Kim, he was superb, I didn't feel a thing. And he said to me, oh my goodness, he said, you're testing me now, aren't you? I've got to be on my best behaviour. I said, you better hard. And he was super nice. It did hurt at one little bit of a stage, just a little. But when he'd finished, he said, how did I do? I said, superb, you did really, really well. I thought, I don't want to knock his confidence, bless him. He was a lovely man, lovely man. And, you know, he was really smiley when I told him he was lovely. And he goes, oh, I'm so glad to hear about that. He says, don't forget to tell Mr. Kim, will you? Because that's his superior. I said, no, I'll tell him he did really well. But, I mean, I find you get a lot better, I won't say better treatment, by being nice to everybody. I mean, I was really absolutely fuming inside because we'd been kept waiting so long, but it wasn't the nurse's fault. There was no point in getting angry with them and shouting at them or doing anything, because they just do as they're told from the surgeons, from the list. They can't do anything. They're like the poor little underlings, if you know what I mean, of the great man at the top, yeah? So I don't see any point in getting angry. I mean, I might have done when I was younger, I might have got, you know, really sort of stopped because, you know, when I was working, they just didn't believe that procedures would take a whole day, you know, they wanted you back in work and things like that. And sometimes I'd had to wait for hospital appointments for 3.5, 4 hours when I was working. And they look at you, or they used to look at me as if I was such a liar, you know. Obviously you've been home for ages and you've been sunbathing or something in the back. And I didn't, I used to go straight there and straight back. But you feel like getting a note from your surgeon, don't you, saying, yes, she really has been here this long, you know. So glad to be free of all that. Oh. It just reminded me there, a guy walking past, reminded me of the old boombox days, you know, when people used to walk around with a great big, you know, radio on the shoulder. It was like bigger than they were, you know, remember? I never had one that big, but I can remember. A guy's just gone past carrying a big, massive big, it's not beer, it looks like Coca-Cola or something, bottles. He's just gone past with a big crate on, like, carrying it like that. But there's no handle to it, so he can't carry it like that. It's just a box. Oh dear. Well, I'm drinking coffee at the moment, but I must admit I went into M&S to get some salad and stuff, which is a great big treat for me because they are a bit on the expensive side, Marks and Spencer's. It's a treat. You couldn't do your shop there, unless you were rich, of course, which I'm not. But my sister-in-law gets this elderflower cordial that you dilute with water. And I just had a yen to taste some of it. Although I must admit I splashed out on her a mango and passion fruit cooler. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. Yesterday I think it was, because I had to go and pick up my mouth guard from the dentist as well as my glasses from the opticians. And I treated myself to a mango cooler. They are so lovely. We don't have Starbucks, I think I've told you. We've only got a Costa. And it was £3.25, which is a lot for a pensioner, but I do like to treat myself every now and again. And my lovely niece, she treats me to one, you know. I love them. I've got the stuff to make coolers, you know, in the freezer and things like that, but they don't taste the same. You know, they don't. Honestly, there's something about the way they make them there. It's like addictive. You want more of them. But it was so cold, and it gives me brain freeze, that I bought it on the way to the dentist. So I went to the dentist, which is a bit of a distance away, and came back. And it was still cold after I'd been in Marks and Spencer's, and I'd been into the opticians. And I got home and it was still cold. So I don't know what they do to them, considering it was absolutely, well, it wasn't as boiling yesterday. It was cooler. So anyway, as to starting any crochet, I think that maybe it might be cool enough to start something tonight. The only thing I've made in the last couple of days has been a washcloth, which is now upstairs in the bathroom. And the shower, the walk-in shower, has been my friend in this kind of weather. Absolutely my friend. I was so glad I didn't have to climb over the bath to get a shower. It's just so great to just turn it on and walk in. Heaven! It's amazing how the smallest things in your life, well, not a small thing, it's quite a large thing, expensively wise, makes such a difference to your life, isn't it? Like, I have overhead fans in every room. They're really look like something off the film Casablanca. And my son used to ridicule them, saying, "Oh, get them taken out, they're so old-fashioned, they're so stupid." I have been so glad I've had these overhead fans, because we don't normally have air conditioning in the UK. They're not standard in any houses, because it's never really hot enough, except on a few days. Office blocks have them because they're like made of glass, and they're sort of skyscrapers and stuff like that. So they do get very hot. When I worked in the job centre, it was all glass. Everywhere around it was glass. Stupid idea. Who wants to see the back of somebody working, you know? The back of their desk. Stupid. But you just feel like you're in a glass house and everybody can see everything you do, you know. If you take your shoes off, they can't see you from the front, but they can see you through the window at the back. No privacy at all. Absolutely no. The other job centre I came from was like the dungeon. You couldn't even tell if it was sunny outside. It looked like a police station from the outside. It had like iron bars on all the windows because of the area we were in. So it had iron bars on all the windows. And frosted glass, which was so dirty looking because the window cleaner couldn't. They used to come round every now and again and hose them with the power wash, you know, because the window cleaner couldn't clean them because they were that bubble glass anyway. But unfortunately, they didn't hose them down on the inside, so they were just as dirty on the inside as they were on the outside. So you had to go and sit in the courtyard if you wanted a bit of sunshine in your lunch break. But then you were dicing with death because the car park was there, and it had railings all the way around it. I think I told you, with a big iron gate and a mesh over the top. But it still didn't stop people chucking stones and bricks and all sorts over the top. If they thought you were sitting there having your lunch, they'd just heave a stone or a brick over the top. I worked in some lovely areas. So glad to be retired. Anyway, I have been very good. I've not ordered any yarn. As I say, I was tempted with some ice yarn, but no, I didn't do it. No. I've done nothing in the craft room. It's been way too hot. When Kelly came last week, it's too hot to go up there. It's just, hasn't got a fan up there, but still too hot to do anything energetic. So I'm determined I'm going to go back in there. I'm determined But I need to put the curtains up, or I need to get somebody to put the curtains up, because I'm not to be trusted even on a small ladder. And I've got this morbid fear, I think I told you before, about falling through a window. People have fears of heights, fears of everything. I've got a fear of falling through a window. I think it's because my auntie did when I was little. And she made a real mess of her hand and she was stitched everywhere, and I was really horrified when I was a child. So ever since then, I've been terrified of windows. Mind you, back in the day it was single glazed, it was just ordinary glass. So when she went through it, I mean, she didn't go through it from a height, she just went through the downstairs window. She didn't go through it, she just pushed her hand, went right through it. But that really put me off. I just had this morbid fear of windows. I don't like looking out of windows when I'm even just 2 stories up, you know. People say, oh, look at this lovely view, you know. But we could be 4 or 5 stories high, and I'm like, no thank you. I'll gaze at it from here, thank you. But you can't see. I can see quite well enough, thank you. And I'm out there. People love going on airplanes with me because I never want the window seat. I prefer the aisle seat, so I can get out quick. And I preferably like to be near the emergency exits, because I'm such a terrible flyer that I'm like, doom, we're all doomed, you know. I mean, one time I went flying and I'd already had sort of Valium or something, which I didn't take, but the doctor gave me Valium because I was so terrified of flying. The flight had been delayed, so I'd had a couple of gins, you know, by the time I got on the plane, on this Valium. But even so, when the plane was taking off, I had my eyes closed and I was gripping both of the side arms on the other chair, gripping. And when we finally took off, I was like, my friend was sat next to me, she said, it's all right, you can let go now. We're up in the air now. So I've got this fait accompli that once I'm up in the air, I'm fine. Yeah. I can pretend I'm on a coach or something, you know. And this guy came over and he tapped me on the shoulder and he said, thank you for that. And I said, what? And he said, my wife is terrified of flying. And she was that busy laughing at your face because she knew you were far more terrified than she was. That she didn't even bother when we took off. He said, normally she's... He said, but she was too busy looking at you and thinking it was hilarious. So I'm glad I made somebody's flight. He said, you coming on this flight on the way home? I said, I don't know. How long are you here for? He said, a week. I said, no, I'm here for a fortnight. She'll have to look at somebody else on the way home. But yes, I would love to go on an aeroplane again, but you have no passport at the minute. All sad. And I'm not prepared to get a GoFundMe page just to go on holiday, so you're okay, I'm not going to ask you. What am I reading at the moment? Well, I'm reading a really weird book. I wouldn't recommend it, but it's weird. It's me, isn't it? It's called Wacky Chicks by Simon Doonan. It's just sort of cataloguing ladies of the past who were considered to be a bit way out in their dress and their design and, you know, things like that. And how they got through life being a bit hippie, designing clothes and doing things, and it just sort of tickled my idea, yeah. I mean, they're all allegedly real people, or he doesn't always give them all the proper names, you know. But they all were certainly all very wacky chicks in where they live and where they work and what they do. It appealed to me. But I wouldn't say, oh gosh, you must read this book, because unless you've got a wacky brain and you love all things hippie and weird and 1970ish, I wouldn't recommend you to read it.